Oh my in God, Jesus, in Christ, God! Where do I begin with this grab thing? I was originally going to review Croc Blocked and its sister, but I realized that those were just typical episodes of modern seasonal run FOB. Let's just say that this show lost appeal, and when it did, it evolved into a Johnny Testes wannabe. I mean, both of them have redundant, unfunny jokes, and both shows have horribly unlikable characters. Why the am I stalling? Let's start. The episode starts in a rather cruel manner. Cosmo and Wanda's 10,000th anniversary is happening in Timmy's room. The guests are hosting him to decide to spill the beans once they realize Timmy forgot the anniversary. For no reason at all. I mean, you guys are total. This is also really forced. If you almost destroyed Fairy World or something, then it would be justified.
This party stinks. Where are the pony rides? The bouncy house? The dance floor that opens into a pit of acid?
Poop, you're not funny. You're unnecessary. Your selfishness is annoying and vexatious. Also, if he's evil, why has no one tried to kick him out of the party? And if they shoehorned Poop pointlessly, why didn't they shoehorn Poof pointlessly? I mean, that's a dumb decision, but at least it makes sense.
Timmy's dad is making me wear a cone until I stop chewing the furniture and the brake lines in his car.
Remember what I said earlier about the characters being holes? Sparky's one too. He purposefully destroys everything, and in the episode he was introduced in, he almost killed Timmy. It's like, how are we supposed to like this character? He's not an antagonist anymore. And if you say he's funny, he's not. He's just a...
It's a photo album of all our old fairy godkids.
The good ones. Who would have remembered your anniversary?
Because forgetting your godparents' anniversary once while still having the rest of the day to make them some sort of present makes you the worst godkid ever, right? Timmy comes up with the idea to visit Cosmo and Wanda's old godkids to make it up. Now, this would be very touching if he didn't immediately shrug it off afterwards and reveal he just wanted to shoo the guests away. He has higher standards than this, so it kind of makes him seem like a selfish jerk. When he's not. At least, not to this extent.
There he is! Erg Wheel! He's working on the invention that'll change the world! The Erg! He invented the wheel, Cosmo! Well, who the heck invented the Erg?
That was one of many unfunny, stupid jokes. This thing's filled to the brim with unfunny, stupid jokes.
See you later, Erg! We're going bowling with Fred and Wilma! Watch your mouth, Erg! They're a ladies' present!
And the jokes that do work are stolen! That one originated from the terrible twosome. Timmy goes up to Erg, but Wanda warns him of the future being screwed up completely, being prone to happening. Timmy irresponsibly shrugs it off. Okay, we had an episode where Timmy tries to prevent his dad from winning a trophy. It would have resulted in the world being dictated by creepy smile zombies. We also had an episode where Timmy went back in time to wear his teacher on Cosmo and Wanda. It ending with him being the reason Crocker's so crazy after all. See, he takes to heart that he shouldn't let Erg the video game, and heed Wanda's warnings. Timmy's not the brightest in the bunch, but he has some sort of common sense. Did the writers watch any episode they didn't write? Yes, he did proceed to melt everything he saw in Father Time, but he had a motivation. It was dumb, but it was at least something. Here, I don't see why he gives Erg, I don't care how it's spelled, the game. Yeah, I kind of wish that this was the writing crew, because they wrote both of the previous time travel episodes I just mentioned, especially because one of the writers for this episode worked on the infamous Quest for Camelot. I'm not even kidding. Also, Timmy was being selfish earlier in the episode. Why would he want to share a video game? Not evidence enough? Check out the beginning of the episode Oddball. Can't even keep their own continuity straight. If I point out every single continuity error in their personalities, we'd be here all day. Then we're hit with the next scene where Timmy and the gang see the Earl of Sandwiches. This scene plays out exactly the same as the last one. Cosmo, Wanda, and Sparky get distracted and Timmy secretly interacts with their former godkid. Same happens with Benjamin Franklin. It's just as stupid. Also, why do these kids get godparents in the first place? They were never in any real stated misery, and they could make their inventions with magic. So why don't they use that? Then we get to the Megan Bacon scene. Oh yes, this scene. Apparently Megan Bacon was horrible back in her days as a kid.
I'm just miserable because my fairies are making me do my homework.
First of all, aren't fairies supposed to prevent misery? Second of all, that motivation is just stupid. Why is she a villainous jerk? Because homework. Homework! You do realize you can make a better motivation than that. Maybe she hates the universe for the misery it brings upon her. Maybe she is mad that she has so many problems and her fairies will soon leave her at some point. Maybe she has a crush that the rules will not allow her to obtain. But no! Homework! Yes, like I mentioned before, Timmy melted the kitchen in father time, but it was the best motivation that could be plausible. Why else would he do that? Timmy goes back to the present and sees that it's been screwed up badly.
Because of your meddling, little Erg the cave boy never invented the wheel.
So that's why all the cars have weird tires.
And Ben Franklin never discovered electricity.
Which explains why Dimsdale is powered by a giant potato.
Okay, your audience members are not goldfish. We do not need the redundant dialogue. Actually, that is what this episode boils down to. Timmy is uncharacteristically stupid because this episode thinks you don't remember other episodes, and the jokes are the same as the characters. Everyone's an idiot. It's as if you could never get it, so they overuse it. It is really embarrassing to know that a show that gave us hilarious things we can forever remember is now treating us like idiots who will take anything as long as it's coated in Fairly OddParents icing. Also, another question. If those guys didn't invent the things they were supposed to, why did some other human try to expand on those inventions? Just a thought. Timmy's fairies have been fired, but not Sparky for some reason. Wasn't he a part of the problem with ruining the future technically? He can travel back in time, so they go about and get the former godkids to invent their stuff. But Megan Bacon has come, and she is threatening to burn Fairy World. Now, I give them some credit for hitting us with an actually surprising twist. As a consequence, though, the real conflict hits in about 13 minutes in out of 22. Megan has Fairy World trapped under a butterfly net. I have so many questions right now. How did she port Fairy World to Earth? She has no magic. And how does she get the whole planet of Fairy World to be covered by said net unless Fairy World is the size of a ball? And if the big one is under the net, then how can Sparky poof back in time? Look up the word proofreading sometime in the future, okay? Sparky is saved by a lever. Well, that's anticlimactic. And bye, I'll never guess the joke behind Megan Bacon.
In fact, no one can stop me from fulfilling my high cholesterol evil plan. Nice try, Timmy, but I've coated the floors with bacon grease. What? It's part of my bacon-themed villainy. And now, to boil you alive in molten lava. Okay, how's that bacon-themed? I ran out of bacon ideas. Seriously? I'll smash you all into bacon bits. Fairy World is about to go on my sizzle reel.
Ladies and gentlemen, the joke is that she goes by a bacon theme. How hilarious! Erg, Earl, and Ben have been sent by Sparky to aid Timmy in defeating Megan Bacon. Earl is the only one who defeats Megan. Sure, Erg and Ben try to do something, but they don't seem to affect her. They could be written out entirely from the scene and nothing would change. In fact, they could be written out of this episode entirely. Wow. Scenes from this episode that were not only unfunny, boring, stupid, and annoying were also unnecessary. Just wow. You know what this episode reminds me of? This reminds me of that one episode in Invader Zim. It was entitled Walk of Doom. It had some scenes that didn't really add to the episode. They just felt like random events that just happened for the sake of happening. They weren't really funny or interesting and kind of dull. Kind of like this thing. At least Walk of Doom was 11 minutes long, the minimum length needed for an Invader Zim episode. They needed to fill the time somehow. This was 22 minutes long! 22 minutes is not a requirement for the Fairly OddParents. And Timmy never receives any consequences for this chaos he caused, which is especially insulting considering he has caused the world to be his father's marionette in the end. For some reason. It's a bad episode. And the comments, which by the way are real, and these are the only ones on the video I watched, on the first video when you see the episode when you put its name in Google, just make it blatant. My main gripe with this episode is how unfunny many of the stupid, asinine jokes are. Which is sad for a show of comedy, especially for a show that used to be really funny, especially for an episode that revolves mostly around comedy. And the characters are annoyingly stupid beyond belief. I mean, seriously, I can make parallels of these characters to the cast of Johnny Test. It's just a dull, stupid episode with little redeeming values.